The MacBook Pro 2021 is predicted to arrive later this year. However, we have already got a lot of information about this laptop. Also, few new leaks have popped up recently, so to keep you updated, we decided to detail everything known about the MacBook Pro 2021 thus far. What to expect? Slimmer bezels and a replacement design. As much as we love the 2020 MacBook Pro with M1 and therefore the MacBook Air with M1, we will not help being a touch disappointed by how thick the bezels are on each laptop. It appears to be a little detail, but thick bezels can distract you from what's happening on screen and hamper your efforts to be absorbed within the latest game, movie, or Disney Plus show. That's why we're thrilled by persistent rumors that the MacBook Pro 2021 are going to be redesigned to flatten the sides of the chassis and slim the bezels around the screen. We've now seen fan renders of what such a redesigned Pro could appear as if, and it's good. More ports. As much as we love the 2020 M1 MacBook Pro, we didn't love the fact that it sports just two Thunderbolt USB 4 ports on the left side and a headphone jack on the proper side. That's only enough ports for the typical users, and it's borderline rude to photographers, video editors, and anyone else who must be ready to connect external monitors or SD cards. That's why we're so excited by the rumors that the 2021 MacBook Pros could ship with an expanded port selection, including an HDMI port, a high-speed UHS 2 SD card reader, and an Ethernet port. With a port array like that, the 2021 MacBook Pro would be a nigh unstoppable productivity machine. MagSafe's triumphant return. If you, like many folks, pine for the times before Apple switched to USB-C for MacBook charging, there's reason for renewed hope. Rumors suggest that MagSafe charging is returning within the 2021 MacBook Pros. This is exciting because having a magnetic connection for the facility cord helped minimize accidental drops and port damage when someone tripped over the MacBook Pro's power line when it had been plugged in, yanking things around. If MagSafe charging returns within the 2021 MacBook Pros, either as a part of a fanatical charging port or a magnetic USB-C port, imagine what proportion wear and tear will avoid. Mini LED display. Now we're stepping into the really exciting upgrade possibilities, as we have seen multiple credible rumors claiming that a MacBook Pro 2021 with mini LED display might be released this fall. This would likely be an equivalent mini LED display technology found within the new iPad Pro 12.9-inch, which sports a liquid retina XDR panel which will achieve 1000 nits of brightness and a 1,000,000 to 1 contrast ratio, which in layman terms means it delivers incredibly bright picture quality with remarkably deep blacks. Of course, if our experience reviewing the iPad Pro's mini LED display is any indicator, you will need to be watching high-quality HDR content so as to enjoy the complete breadth of the display's power. But something tells me that will not prove too burdensome a chore. M1X chip. The addition of the Apple M1 chip to the 2020 MacBook Pro delivered improvements to its processing power and battery efficiency that were, quite frankly, incredible. That's why we're so excited about the multiple reports which claim Apple is going to supply an M1X chip for the MacBook Pro 2021 this fall, and it should be even more powerful than the M1. Based on rumors and leaked M1X benchmarks, we currently expect the M1X to close up to 10 CPU cores and as many as 16 to 32 cores for the GPU. If that each one pans out, we will anticipate 2021 MacBook Pros with unbeatable performance and outstanding battery life. After all, last year's MacBook Pro M1 lasted an astonishing 16 hours and 25 minutes in our battery test, which tests a laptop's endurance by taking it with endlessly browsing the online over Wi-Fi at a group brightness of 150 nits. If we do find yourself seeing new 2021 MacBook Pros with M1X chips, it's reasonable to expect they'll last even longer. MacBook Pro 2021 outlook. Lots to be excited about. When you line up all the rumored improvements together like this, the MacBook Pro 2021 is beginning to appear as if it might be the most important upgrade we have seen the MacBook Pro line get during a while. No touch bar. Apple introduced a slight bar with the 2016 Macs, providing a little OLED display where physical function keys won't be located. Apple had grand plans for the touch bar and envisioned it being an adaptable mini display that offered customizable controls and different functions on a per-app basis. But the touch bar never appeared to catch on with consumers. Kuo says that the touch bar is going to be removed with the 2021 MacBook Pro models and can get replaced with physical function keys. Guzman has confirmed that Apple had tested versions of the MacBook Pro that don't have a slight bar. Display. Gurman believes the new MacBook Pro models will feature display improvements within the sort of brighter, higher contrast panels, and in past rumors, Kuo has suggested the updated machines are going to be the primary Macs with mini LED displays, marking a big improvement in display quality. Given that Kuo made no mention of mini LED technology in his most up-to-date report, it's possible that the feature has been delayed until a later date. In spite of this, a recent report from Digitimes has suggested that the new MacBook Pro models will indeed feature mini LED displays, and it's a technology introduced within the 2021 iPad Pro models. If Apple does transition to mini LED for the 2021 MacBook Pro models, the displays could use somewhere around 10,000 LEDs, all under 200 microns in size. Mini LED technology will leave a thinner and lighter design, while offering many OLED-like benefits like improved wide color gamut, high contrast and dynamic range, and truer blacks. Batteries. MacRumours in June discovered evidence of the new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro models during a Chinese regulatory database. Apple supplier Sunwoda Electronic shared filings for two batteries that appears to be appropriate to be used in future MacBook Pro models. The first, designed for a 16-inch machine, features an identifier of A2527 and is rated at 8,693 mAh per 11.45 volts, which is analogous to the 8,790 mAh per 11.36 volt battery within the current 16-inch MacBook Pro. This means no raw battery life gains for the 16-inch MacBook Pro, but the Apple chip is probably going to introduce improvements. Processor. The entry-level 13-inch MacBook Pro already has an M1 chip, and in 2021, all new MacBook Pro models will gain Apple Silicon chips. Apple isn't expected to release MacBook Pro models with Intel chips, phasing Intel chips out of the notebook line entirely. The 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro models will have upgraded Apple Silicon chips with a 10-core CPU that features 8 high-performance cores and 2 energy-efficient cores, alongside 16-core or 32-core GPU options. The next-generation Apple chip destined for brand-spanking new MacBook Pro models will support up to 64 GB of RAM, up from the present 16 GB supported by the M1 chip. The new chip will also enable additional Thunderbolt ports. Webcam. The upcoming 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro models are rumored to incorporate an upgraded 1080p webcam that might be better than the 720p webcam that's included within the current version of the MacBook Pro. Apple also used a 1080p camera for the 24-inch iMac. Whether we find ourselves seeing a 14-inch or 16-inch MacBook Pro in 2021, it's clear that there is much room for Apple to enhance on the already impressive specs of the present M1 MacBook Pro. MacBook Pro 2021 launch date. Plenty of launch timelines are being predicted for the arrival of the upcoming MacBook Pro 2021. While several reports hint towards the launch to take place in September, some others believe that could happen in October or November. While we cannot confirm the exact launch date, the MacBook Pro 2021 is tipped to be on track for this year. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. With this, we come to the end of today's video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We will be bringing more interesting videos for you all. We will see you soon.